Hello, my name is Kimberly Santiago. We are group 23, and we're going to be talking about the disparities in early childhood education.
Hi, my name is Alea Sterling.
Hi, my name is Pham.
And my name is Vaibhavi. So to start off, I'm just going to give a little background on preschool education. Basically, early childhood education serves children who aren't necessarily old enough for kindergarten yet. So this is mainly 3 to 5-year-olds. And these programs primarily help with cognitive and social development. And they're presented in a variety of contexts, including daycare centers, childcare centers, pre-K classrooms, and much more. And beyond that, they can be home-based, center-based, or through many other platforms. To be quite honest, just pre-K education is very diverse. And also they run on many different schedules. So most that you'll hear of are during the school year, but there are also many in the summers or maybe other enrichment ones that operate on just other alternative and special schedules. So with pre-K education, funding basically varies from program to program. So some are often more well-funded. So for example, if we look at like private schools, because the children who attend those schools come from higher income families who are able to donate more to those schools. So often they have stronger programs and they're just like better funded as a whole. And then additionally, preschool teachers, they teach students many important skills. And some of these include language ability, interaction with written and printed materials, so exposure to books basically, counting numbers, recognizing numbers, and then understanding letters and sounds. So several national educational bodies have provided different standards, just mainly specifying what high quality programs should look like. And across these different bodies, they had some pretty common themes. So some of these included having a strong curriculum, addressing student needs, having a good student to teacher ratio. So making sure a teacher didn't have too many students and that the students could get that one-on-one interaction, and then consistency across, curricula and just the programs as a whole. And finally, as mentioned before, just going off of having that good student to teacher ratio, which also helps with interaction amongst educators and students, because having that interaction is very important to help a student's growth and to teach them a lot of those fundamental skills that will ultimately come into play later in their educational career.
So one of those programs that helps children get a rich education would be Head Start. And what Head Start does is that it helps children start to become better thinkers, socialize better, reduce attention problems. They also have better cognitive development and reduce externalizing behavior. And regardless of income, the program offers to all students higher literacy and reading skills. And in contrast, compared with attendance at pre-kindergarten or other center-based care, such as child daycare or any kind of family daycare, this would be more beneficial for them, according to the 2011 paper.
The studies have shown that low-income children tend not to be enrolled in preschool programs. So this study focuses on what factors can contribute to that. So one thing is parental necessity. So many times low-income families may have a single parent household, which means they have difficulties finding daycare centers, especially at a cost. However, if their neighborhoods offer programs that are free or low cost, they will be able to increase those enrollments. And as we can see, only 38% of low income children did enroll compared to 76% from high income families. However, there was one common theme throughout the study, which is that in general, children from low-income families were more likely to be enrolled if the parents felt the program had a good curriculum. So what creates a high quality early childhood program is that first, all programs throughout the state should have a clear and articulate goals that value children, families, their culture, and communities. So the first step is their physical environment. So any resources that the program provides should reflect their outcomes. So resources and programs that are enticing, they stimulate children, and also alleviate the stress from transition from home to school. Also, it should be appropriate and effective. Children should be allowed to express themselves. They are kids and be able to be creative and experiment. Another thing is programs should not have tests or interviews in order for them to be enrolled. This tends to exclude the children who actually need those benefits. Another part is giving them their basic needs like food, water, and shelter. As we know, Maslow's hierarchy, if their basic needs are not met, they will not be able to advance. And also just be making sure inclusivity is a very important part of the program. So race, gender, ethnicity, and also ability. The second part is community involvement. As we know, many times programs tend to only reach out to parents when it comes to fundraising for the programs. However, it's the program that should be able to find any services or support for the families. Teachers and staff tend to have, at least in the education field, lower salaries. So many times preschool teachers tend to leave the program or even the education they're seeking to go into other fields. So it's also very important to value teachers and give them a higher raise, as well as not leaving kids to many inexperienced employment.
There are several potential solutions to mitigate these disparities. First off, we can initiate programs like Head Start that provide an online approach. As technology usage is becoming more prevalent with minimal regard to disparities, it is important to have resources that are accessible to everyone. For example, Wi-Fi at low cost and education systems that provide students with an internet plan and a caption and a laptop lending program contribute positively to ensuring accessibility to various socioeconomic communities. A census of various disparities contributing to early childhood education availability and utilization on a local level can help with identifying which at-risk communities do not have access to these programs. This information is useful where we can see which programs can be open in which areas in various communities throughout the state or the country. This information can be helpful in providing childcare subsidy administrators who may be able to channel and set aside dollars to increase access to culturally and linguistically responsive and high quality care in those areas. It is important to draft down various factors such as race, family income, educational status of parents, and cultural backgrounds, and so much more, in order to pinpoint which areas need more attention. Increasing the recruitment and training of a culturally and linguistically diverse early childhood education workforce is extremely important. The demographics within our community is ever changing, and it's important that we match these changes with accessible programs that can cater to all concentrated groups throughout the community, whether it be by race, income, educational status, financial status, etc. It's important to have somebody that these communities can relate to, whether it's having a teacher who speaks Spanish or is extremely knowledgeable about living in low-income areas. It's stuff like this that makes families feel more secure on the idea of having their child participate in such programs. The lack of relatability can have a negative effect on parents and their decision to enroll their child in educational programs as well. By offering effective parental education that targets various cultural and socioeconomic groups, accessible informational brochures or websites can help spread awareness about these potential benefits of early childcare and education for their child's future academic success. Information on these websites and or brochures will include, but is definitely not limited to, eligibility criteria for publicly funded and subsidized early childhood programs, and or list of programs throughout the area, details about these programs, their curriculum, activities, and success rates. According to a source, there are other factors that affect children's early education. Maternal education and children's nutrition are upon the few. The increased access and coverage under governmental aid like Medicare and other programs to give income families access to proper food and healthcare make or ensure that families feel more secure in sending their child off to child programs. By creating programs encouraging the education of parents by providing subsidies and scholarships for childcare are also helpful elements in pushing parents to focus on their education and provide them with a sense of security in their finances.
As we can see, there are stark differences in children going to a Head Start program and children who do not. Many times low-income families do not have the resources in their communities or do not have the income in order to support those preschool programs. There's also, as we can see, a difference between a high-quality childcare program and a non-high quality, which can differentiate how long-term children choose any important decisions with college or even in high school can have its effects.
So many different educational bodies have been working on potential solutions. However, there is still much work to be done. Overall, there are, as we have seen throughout the presentation, many different factors from all different areas of life that intersect and impact these very evident disparities. And some of these examples included maternal education and a child's nutrition. And policy ultimately needs to be made that addresses these disparities. And even when creating programs, these factors need to be addressed adequately. And to the audience, as many of you are probably students, to do your part in helping out with these disparities, try to find volunteering opportunities at like underfunded schools or like schools that are from like low income areas, because a lot of these schools need help. And I think one of the best ways to help uplift these students is ultimately giving back what you've learned throughout your educational process. And just try to find different volunteering opportunities and do what you can to help bring up others and ultimately level the playing field at the end of the day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.